In this video, we're going to talk about how to change symbology for the vector data set. So we have three different geometries for vector data in this lab: point, line, and polygon. And we will change one layer at a time. So first, starting with the parks here. So I'll switch on the parks, and protected parks or protected like state parks, right? So automatically we are assuming these are forested area, and therefore cartographically it should be green in color. And but you can see in the DEM or the raster data, we do have a green type of green, so we have to make sure it's not blended in. So like the raster data, we will right click on the layer, and in here you can see the symbology is right up here. We can go from there, or you can right click on it and click on symbology. Either way works. We will go to symbology, single symbol, not unique values, to single symbol up here, and then we will click on to this icon. We will not click on the drop down menu. Really, it doesn't change anything. Then we are going to go to this gallery, right? And there are some standard colors available right away that generally are professionally used in a lot of map making. So standard formats, or you can go to the properties and change the color. So you can always pick and choose, right? So let's say park, so I can click on park, but as you can see, it kind of does not pop because of the background being so many different colors. There is a muted green too, that's probably better. But let's say if you're in the situation where it's a color that does not pop, you go to the properties here, and you can choose a color like this dark green color, and you can also choose an outline. If you choose the outline, this is black outline, but the width is 0, so none of the outline is really visible. So you can see none of the outline is visible. So you have to increase the width, and you can see the auto apply here, the toggle is on, so it's automatically applied. If yours is off like this, you have to change the width and apply. So I always keep it auto apply so that if I change, it's switched on. But you see, if I made it 2 point, it's kind of really becoming like too much of like a cheetah print. So that doesn't look good. So I'm going to go back to 1 point. Or you can also type in, select and type in 0 point, let's say 5. So you can use those custom values and hit enter to change the auto apply. I personally avoid using black outline, so I tend to go with lighter colors, and depends on, again, what's the background color. But let's say if it's gray, then it kind of, there is a certain outline, but it also is not like too much to your eye. Because it's green, and I can also try maybe a darker green, and if that makes any better, and sometimes just no color is better as well. So in this case, I will probably go with like a gray and see how it shows up. It generally doesn't show up anything, or even a white. You can see the white shows up in here. Because it's 0.5, it doesn't make a big difference, but at least you can see the outlines in these smaller areas, and it doesn't kind of take away from the aesthetic of the map. Similarly, now we have water body, which is also a polygon, and I'm going to select the water body. So you would see I have to highlight it so that now I can work with this layer. Otherwise, I would have changed the park layer. I will go back here, and water body again, if you go to the gallery, a water area is there, and this is the water area, but again, it's very light and not available and not visible really. So you can change maybe to blue, and then it has got these outline which is making it weird, or this blue. You can play around with it. I finally settled with going to the properties, choosing this blue patch with the outline of this dark blue, which is lapis lazuli, and the outline width of 0.5, so it looks like this. Now I'm going to change the color of the interstate. So I'll click on the interstate. Right now it's green. So again, make sure that your layer is highlighted. Because I checked does not mean it's highlighted. You have to actually select the layer again, click, and you can see line shows up. Previously both were polygons, right? So symbol, so click on that. Again, in the gallery you will see a lot of standard symbologies that are there. Highway has got the symbology, which is very much similar to what you will see in a Google map. However, you can see it's getting blended with our background, so we will go and probably change the color to dark red, which is kind of a standard color for a lot of road traditionally in cartography. And if you go to the layer, there is solid stroke, like 2 different layers, so they're on top of each other. I can uncheck once and change the width. I will probably reduce the width to 2 points. And again, it's auto apply, so it's getting changed automatically on the map. And go back and forth in terms of the zoom level to see whether when you zoom in it kind of looks good or not, versus when you zoomed out. What you might see in the template that I've provided may be a little different, like the blue might be a little different, the red might be, the lines might be a little different, and that's okay. As I mentioned, this is my example is meant to be a template to showcase how different things should be organized, and the hierarchy of fonts and symbology and what is absolutely needed. Like the shade of blue, right? If you think the darker is better versus lighter, whichever pops to you, it's okay, as long as it's not like absolutely obnoxious colors, right? Then finally we have the cities. Right now you can see this are tiny dots, which probably 3 different dots, and that's because it's cities above 100,000 population. And we are going to change the symbology. So again, selecting, you can see the symbol up here, and these are point symbology. There is a gallery for it too, so you can choose like a triangle or maybe hexagon. One thing that you know is that if you go to the city, go to the attribute table, you will see that there is Madison, Milwaukee, Green Bay. So in here, capital Madison is selected as a state capital. And let's say you want to symbolize Madison differently than Milwaukee and Green Bay. You can do that here as well. So for that, you have to change the primary symbology to unique values. And so it's reading from these columns. So the field are columns. So I will choose capital because that's where we can make the differentiation. And here it says state, and I will change the label to state capital. And this is just cities, right? And now I can click on this and change the symbology. So you saw that I just single clicked on this. So I have to click on style, and let's say I want it to change into, let's say, star. Okay, I'll select the star, click OK. So I went there from the style, and I don't want it as a black star. Rather, I want it as a kind of a dark red star, and I want it bigger, maybe way bigger, let's say 30, and maybe size a little bit bigger too. Point size, marker size, I'm not sure why they're different. Generally they mean the same thing. And that's about it. So you changed it. Now remember, this is just the Madison. We will go back and we will select the other cities, and in here we will probably use just a circle, and again I will change maybe this size to not as big as Madison, but let's say 25, and this, change the size to 4 points, and here the symbology might be a little bit different, so let's say light red. And if you want to change the outline, probably you can, going to more point symbology or format point symbology, and that's it. Okay, so now all your colors are visible, all your layers are visible. If you want to go back and forth in terms of how you want to organize the layer, you can always drag. So if I make the protected parts on top of the water body, you cannot see all the water bodies, so I'll drag it down. The road should be below the cities, because otherwise the cities won't be visible here. And I created two types of symbology based on the property of the point or of the city it's representing.